Good morning. Let us center our hearts and minds. O great source of awe and wonder, we are drawn here today from a myriad of passages and ponderings. As we pause in this time and place, our gathered up gaze is trained upon the dynamic of living, described beautifully as Odyssey. A long trek, an eventful journey, a pathway that yields surprise and discovery at every stretch and turn. How blessed we are to share the adventure with creative companions, with courageous pioneers, with lovers of life and earth and community and wisdom. This morning we celebrate and honor the Odysseys of three beloved ones who care deeply, live boldly, and teach well. May their stories awaken and inspire our hearts, our minds, and our own calls to serve the precious world we have been given to love and to share. In the name of all that is holy and true, amen. You may be seated.
Good morning. I'm so happy to see such a big crowd this morning. My name's Joanne Biggs. I'm the current chair of the Hendrix Board of Trustees. I want to welcome you here this morning, all of you. It's a real pleasure for us to have our distinguished honorees with us today. We're pleased about that, and we celebrate all of their accomplishments. But I also want to extend a special welcome to the friends and families of our distinguished honorees today. So we appreciate y'all being here in support of them as well. So hope you enjoy the campus while you're here. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to President Ellis. I hope you enjoy the convocation.
Happy to add my welcome to you as well and wish you good morning. And welcome, as Joanne said, to the Hendrix campus. We're here today to celebrate the achievements of three outstanding Hendrix alumni. As we celebrate those remarkable individuals, we also recognize the special role that Hendrix College has played in their success and in the lives of thousands of other Hendrix students over the past 146 years. Before we begin, I'd like to reflect on the past just for a few moments and remember the visionary leaders who founded this institution and led it through the early critical years. We began as Central Institute in Altus, Arkansas, and held our first day of classes on October 30th, 1876. 20 students were enrolled for the first fall term. They were taught by one faculty member, Reverend Isham Burrow, a Methodist minister who was the school's founder and its first president. His goal was to provide a national example for academic excellence and rigorous education in the state of Arkansas. Inspired by Isham Burrow's vision, the early leaders of Hendrix worked diligently to move the college forward. And building on his vision, Hendrix grew from a high school and a small collegiate department to the undergraduate institution that has since become one of the nation's leading liberal arts colleges. In 1884, to bring more financial stability to this young institution, Reverend Burrow formed a relationship that continues to this day between the college and the United Methodist Church. In 1890, Hendrix moved to Conway, a more central and accessible location that ultimately will enable the college to grow. On September the 6th, 1890, President A.C. Miller sat at a table on the steps of Tabor Hall and personally handled the registration of the 158 students that he and 4 other faculty members would teach that year. One of those students, John Hugh Reynolds, would later serve as president of Hendrix for 32 years. He and other early presidents of Hendrix laid the strong foundation on which we continue to build. They kept the college committed to the liberal arts when other institutions with similar roots turned themselves into specialized schools or trade schools to attract students. They understood that a broad-based education was the best foundation for a meaningful life. Today, we celebrate the enduring spirit and founding vision of this institution by recognizing 3 accomplished graduates. Our honorees took their broad, rigorous, and engaged liberal arts experience at Hendrix and built upon it. They pursued distinguished careers and led lives of accomplishment, meaning, character, and substance. This year's Odyssey Medal recipients are testaments to the work and dedication of Hendrix faculty and staff who challenged and mentored them. They are indeed models to the students here who are following in their footsteps, and they're inspiration to us all. Today, the Hendrix Odyssey program is at the heart of the academic experience at the college. It's the natural evolution of the college's long-standing commitment to engaged learning, connecting the classroom to the community and the world. And while other colleges and universities now offer engaged opportunities for learning, very few, if any, have done it for as long as we have, or as comprehensively or as well as we do here at Hendrix. Hendrix has long been a national leader for engaged liberal arts education, and that's because of the strong sense of community and shared purpose that began in 1876 and flourishes today with our alumni, our faculty, staff, and students. And nothing illustrates this purpose more clearly than the journeys of these 3 Hendrix graduates who returned to campus this morning. Today, Hendrix and the Board of Trustees are proud to honor the accomplishments of these alumni who exemplify the ideals of the Odyssey program. These Hendrix students have 3 Hendrix students who have completed Odyssey projects in the areas for which the medals are being presented have been asked to introduce our honorees today. Dr. Bill Gunderson, Director of Odyssey Program and Assistant Professor of Chemistry, will introduce each student. And finally, I would like to add my word of thanks to Joanne Biggs, who brought you greetings this morning on behalf of the Board of Trustees. And each of the Board of Trustees members is honored and proud to recognize these medal recipients today. At this time, I would turn it over to Dr. Gunderson to introduce our first student presenter.
Good morning. I'm pleased to introduce 3 students this morning. Each one will share a little bit about their experience at Hendrix, reflecting on how their Odyssey experiences are connected to the honorees, and how they underscore why we are honoring these alumni today. Cade England, a junior biology major from Fayetteville, Arkansas, is our first student speaker. He will be introducing the recipient of the Odyssey Medal for Special Projects.
Hello. My name is Cade. I'm a biology major and social justice minor here at Hendrix. With the help of the Odyssey office and the biology department, I've been able to travel to Costa Rica to work at a wildlife hospital and study urban wildlife and songbird populations here in central Arkansas. This morning, I'm honored to introduce Ken Babcock, a past Hendrix biology major and forever a fellow conservationist. Ken graduated from Paragould High School in 1961 before graduating from Hendrix in 1965. He went on to get his Master's of Science in Wildlife Management from Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge. In 1967, he started working for the Mississippi Game and Fish Commission as a waterfowl biologist. And for those of you who have had encounters with geese, you know it takes one great person to excel in that position. He then went on to become the chief of the wildlife division, and then the assistant director before retiring in 1997. That same year, he started working for Ducks Unlimited, an organization devoted to restoring, conserving, and managing habitats for North American waterfowl. There, he worked as the Director of Operations for the Southern Regional Office until 2007, and then as the Senior Director of Conservation until 2013. He has also served on the board of the Missouri Conservation Heritage Foundation and received the Southeastern Association of Fish and Wildlife Agency's W.W. Watson Award in 2005 for his incredible contribution to wildlife management. President Arnold, I present to you Ken Babcock, class of 1965, to receive the Odyssey Medal for Special Projects.
In recognition of a professional and personal life well lived, the Hendrix Board of Trustees and Hendrix College are honored to present Ken Babcock with the 2022-23 Odyssey Medal for special projects, and to hold him up to our students, our alumni, and the community at large as a testament to the value of engaged liberal arts education. Congratulations, Ken.
That's dangerous, Mr. President, to say it's all yours. First of all, I want to say thank you to Hendrix and the Board of Trustees for this honor. I've lived a very blessed life, and I'll have a little more to say about that later on. When the program was being put together, Pamela told me I was going to have 1 to 3 minutes to kind of talk. Those of you in the audience that know me know I can't tell you my name in 1 to 3 minutes, but I'm going to try to respect the time on this. As I said, I've truly been blessed. I was blessed to have 2 of the finest parents in the world who taught the importance of family, and further blessed by those same parents giving me 3 siblings that have been a very important part of my life. And I'm pleased to say that my sister Kay and my brother Steve are here. Our other sibling, Carl, who is also a graduate from Hendrix College and a member of the Hall of Fame in athletics here. We lost him in 1973, but I guess kind of have a feeling he's here today as well. So a part of our family. I have 2 daughters, Jennifer and Kathy, and they were given to me by my wife of 58 years, who I met here at Hendrix College. 61 years ago, it's hard for me to think about that, I came to Hendrix. And 60 years ago, I met this young lady from Hot Springs, Arkansas, as she walked through the line at Hewlin Hall, and I was serving mashed potatoes. And wasn't very long after that, we were married, and we've been together now for 58 years as husband and wife, and I think she's probably going to give me at least another year. But truly, and when I talk about family, family extends beyond the immediate family to me. And as I think today and look around and see old friends that I met here at Hendrix College, Vance Strange, Fred Van Hook, Ken Nixon, Linda Van Hook, part of the family as well, and in many ways. And in fact, Vance Strange spent a lot of holidays with the Babcock family, and then his younger brother Steve and I became lifelong friends. Unfortunately, we lost Steve recently. But truthfully, I have been blessed. And I told President Arnold before this started, I said, you know, I've worked in the field of conservation for 47 years, and I don't feel like I really worked a day in my life. And I truly do mean that, because my career in conservation took me from the mangrove swamps of Mexico to the boreal forest to the Arctic Circle, and studying wildlife, primarily waterfowl, but other wildlife as well. And more importantly than just being able to see that country, I got to know people from the Inuit up north to the Mexican native people down in the mangrove swamps and their cultures, and I truly do feel blessed. But all of this started at Hendrix College. And in fact, when I came to Hendrix, I had worked as an employee of a Walgreens drugstore in Paragould, Arkansas, and my desire was to be a pharmacist. And I was here just a little while, and I thought, why in the world would I want to write prescriptions when I can go to school another year or two, and I can actually be a doctor and let somebody else fill those prescriptions. And then one night when I was studying late, I went to a little truck stop down the road, and I saw a guy in a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service uniform, and I asked him what he was doing, and he told me that he was transporting Canada geese down south, trying to restore the migration path of these birds. And I said, well, how do you do that? He said, well, I've got a degree in wildlife management from Texas A&M University. And I said, you can get a degree in doing what you're doing? And I went home after that and decided I was going to change directions because I had loved the outdoors and I loved what time I was able to spend there, and the rest of it's history. And again, I have been blessed, and I continue to be blessed, and I hope the good Lord will give me a few more years to enjoy this old world because I still got work to do. I want to again thank Hendrix and thank the Board of Trustees for this honor. Thank you.
Carissa Ross is a junior history and politics double major from Little Rock, Arkansas. She will be introducing the Odyssey Medal recipient for service to the world.
Good morning. My name is Carissa, and as Dr. Gunderson said, I'm a junior here at Hendrix, majoring in politics and history. I'm honored to introduce Beth Wiedower Jackson, a Hendrix alum and Odyssey Medal recipient for her expertise in preservation, public policy, and project management. Beth's role in the National Trust for Historic Preservation in the Arkansas Delta helped to reinvigorate the community through economic development and cultural preservation. We both share an interest in public history and cultural preservation. I have been lucky at Hendrix to be able to explore different disciplines and decided to add my history major freshman year after discovering that passion. I'm currently working with the National Forest Service in Georgia to review census data so that we can recommend how some of that forested land is used. We are conducting these census surveys so that the Forest Service can appropriately manage some of these historic and cultural sites. I want to be able to apply my historical interests to benefit our lives in the present, and I am inspired by Beth's work because of this aspect. Not only is Beth skilled in conservation and preservation practices, but she is an adept leader and project manager. As a graduate of Leadership Arkansas, Beth was recognized as a community leader and was able to develop these skills further. She has a range of experience in her field, including working in South Carolina for her master's degree in public history, working abroad in the United Kingdom's National Preservation Office, and working in the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism. She is currently the executive director of the Astrodome Conservancy in Houston, Texas. Her efforts at the Astrodome speak to her dedication to the communities that she has lived in. President Arnold, I present to you Beth Wiedower Jackson, class of 1999, to receive the Odyssey Medal for service to the world.
In recognition of a professional and personal life well lived, the Hendrix Board of Trustees and Hendrix College are honored to present Beth Wiedower Jackson with the 2022-23 Odyssey Medal for service to the world and hold her up to our students, our alumni, and the community at large as a testament to the value of engaged liberal arts education at Hendrix College. Congratulations.
Roving photographer. Wonderful. Wow. My sincere gratitude to the Board of Trustees, Joanne, to President Arnold, and to the Hendrix College community for this incredible honor. Thank you. I'm surprised and a bit incredulous at the recognition of my professional work to date as service to the world, but I'll take it. Huge thanks to Carissa. That was a great introduction. Thank you. I wish I knew that person. Carissa's parents and I were at Hendrix together, and her uncle is one of my favorite people on the planet. So this is a fortuitous meeting, and I'm excited for your future. My Odyssey is ongoing and very fluid, taking unexpected turns and presenting new opportunities around each of life's bends. And my years at Hendrix proved to be a much-needed experience in navigating life's twists and turns. I didn't particularly want or appreciate those twists and turns at the time, mind you. Unlike many of my friends and peers, I arrived on campus for my freshman year without a real sense of direction or a calling towards a specific discipline or course of study. But hey, you can't go wrong with a liberal arts degree, right? That's what everyone always says. So you'll find your path soon, I told myself. I was envious of those who knew that pre-med or politics, physics, or psychology was their calling. But eventually I did find mine, or rather, I created it. As an interdisciplinary studies major, the supportive and trusting and optimistic Hendrix faculty gave me the opportunity to blaze my own trail through literature, politics, history, and cultural and oral traditions to arrive at a course of study that I adored. Drs. Barth, Chappell, Shantz, and McAinch. Those one-on-one conversations in these professors' offices elevated my confidence and humbled me at the same time. They steered me in new directions and introduced the possibility that I could chart my own academic course. I had not been one to take the easier traditional route, so an interdisciplinary major felt appropriate. As I said, I adored the content. I couldn't get enough of it, but it didn't exactly lead to any gainful employment offers upon graduation. It was the addition of experiential learning, well before the lauded Hendrix Odyssey program of today, but in the very same spirit, that led me to a passion for and a career in public service and cultural heritage preservation. My internships in Washington, D.C., at the White House and on Capitol Hill, my work as a congressional campaign staffer, those were signal points during my Hendrix experience that provided direction and purpose. And I'm grateful to and for Hendrix College, for its committed and amazing faculty, for encouraging me to think beyond those traditional parameters, and for supporting and connecting me with those experiences outside of the classrooms and the lecture halls, for laying the foundation that helped me find my way to historic and cultural preservation, striving to tell the full American story and playing a small role in creating vibrant, sustainable, inclusive, and just communities that I continue today. For it was in Mills and Bueller where I learned civil discourse, listening and engaging others of different beliefs and cultures and experiences, recognizing the critical importance of story, and everyone has a story, pointed me in the direction of working to position that story and the physical sites and places and environments associated with it at the center of community. And that sentence would have Dr. Story and Dr. Chappell in fits, because I was often dinged for run-on sentences and excessive verbosity in my written assignments. My Hendrix experience was instrumental in ways that I can only now truly recognize and assign in preparing me for a career and a life in service to community. This community was and is a testing ground for life and for gauging one's interests and abilities to navigate it successfully and wholly. So, to my devoted parents, Julie and Bill, who were class of 1973 at Hendrix, to my sister Jenny, a Rhodes College rodent, and rival during my Hendrix tenure, and to my beloved Adam, a fierce Sewanee tiger. We old SCAC schools have to stick together, right? Your love and seemingly limitless support are the reason that I stand here today. And to my 6-year-old son, Julian, who's here in the front row, and my daughter, Frances, let's hope that Hendrix prepared me to guide and steer you through the challenges and opportunities ahead. I think we're on the right course. Thank you again to the Hendrix community for this recognition and the opportunity to be here today.
Marcia Williams is a junior environmental studies major from Bologna, Arkansas. She is introducing the Odyssey Medal recipient for global awareness.
Thank you, Dr. Gunderson, and hi all and welcome. It is a pleasure to be standing in front of you today. My name is Marcia Williams, and I am a junior here at Hendrix College. I plan to graduate next year with a degree in environmental studies and a minor in social justice. In my time at Hendrix, I've explored many ways in which I can learn and travel. Most graciously, I've been supported by the Murphy Scholars and Odyssey, in which I was a participant, and have obtained 3 credits, one of which is in global awareness. With that being said, today I am honored and thrilled to be giving the introduction for Mr. Mel White. Mel White, often referred to as the Birdman of Arkansas, is a Conway native and grew up going to Conway Public Schools, where he was an all-state trumpet player and, in his own words, often an irritant to his school administration. Mr. White graduated from Hendrix College in 1972 with a degree in humanities, having taken nearly all of the music courses available to a non-music major, which explains why he was gone most weekends playing in a rock and roll band. Although he had worked summers and holidays at his parents' Western Auto store in downtown Conway, his first real job was in Little Rock at the Arkansas Democrat newspaper, where he worked as a copy editor, general assignment reporter, and eventually the entertainment editor. From the newspaper, he moved to a Little Rock recording studio where for 4 years he wrote, arranged, and produced commercial and advertising music, hiring and supervising some of the best local musicians from the local pop world and the Arkansas Symphony. While at the studio, he began writing freelance pieces for the Arkansas Times monthly magazine, which eventually led to the magazine hiring him full-time, first as a writer, and then as a managing editor, and then later editor. An article he wrote won a first-place award from the City and Regional Magazine Association. The story was about birds, which was a prophetic of what was to come. While at the Arkansas Times, he sold a few stories for various national magazines, which gave him the confidence to quit the Times and try to make a living as a freelance travel and nature writer. This may have been an overly confident decision in his own words, but it worked out, and that's what he did for the next 33 years. During that time, he worked primarily for the National Geographic Society, where he did assignments on birds of paradise, tide pools, frogs, manatees, crocodiles, and the ivory-billed woodpecker. He traveled to numerous countries and visited 49 out of the 50 states. He cruised down the Amazon River, climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and spent 5 weeks traveling from Fairbanks, Alaska to Miami, Florida. His stories won first-place awards from the Society of American Travel Writers and the North American Travel Journalists Association. Although most of his work was for the National Geographic Society, he also did assignments for many different works, such as the Discovery Channel books, Living Bird, and the magazine of the Cornell Laboratory of Ornithology. Mel says that if quitting a paying job to become a freelance writer was the dumbest thing he ever did, the smartest thing he did was to marry Hope Coulter, director of the Hendrix Murphy Foundation, which sponsors language and literature programs here on campus and all over the world. Hope loves nature and travel as much as he does, and you're likely to find the two of them looking at kookaburras in Australia or eating tapas at a cafe in Spain. Hope has been a very influential figure and mentor in my time here at Hendrix College. She has encouraged me and supported me in spreading my wings to travel to places such as Costa Rica, where I spent 6 weeks of my summer in the cloud forest bird watching and writing, something that I know both Hope and Mel would have enjoyed. President Arnold, I present to you Mel White, class of 1972, to receive the Odyssey Medal for Global Awareness.
In recognition of a professional and personal life well lived, the Hendrix Board of Trustees and Hendrix College are honored to present Mel White with the 2022-23 Odyssey Medal for Global Awareness and hold him up to our students, our alumni, and the community at large as a testament to the value of engaged liberal arts education at Hendrix. Congratulations, Mel.
Thank you, President Arnold and Marcia. It was a long time ago when I graduated from here. When I was in the 10th grade at Conway High School, I wrote a little comedy play, which as I recall was just a goofy parody of TV shows and pop music. Luckily for everybody no script of this play survives today. I recruited a bunch of my friends as actors, and we performed it in the school auditorium during study hall and charged $0.25 for admission. And now that I think about it, I believe Beth's father may have been one of those people. Do you remember that, Bill? The play was well attended.
I have the script.
Oh, no. Would you take 1,000? The play was well attended because, of course, any kid would pay $0.25 to get out of study hall. It was then that I made the happy discovery that while I had the ability to write things that would make some people laugh, while simultaneously offending people who, to my mind, needed to be offended. At this point, my fate was sealed. I was going to be a writer. First, though, I had to learn how to write, and to do that, I had to learn how to think, and this is where Hendrix comes in. I took philosophy courses from Francis Christie and Robert Shoemaker, where I learned that if you read enough great thinkers, you eventually realize that nobody really knows anything about anything, so you might as well have the confidence to believe what you want to believe. I took lots of music courses where I entered the wonderful world of Brahms and Bartók and Prokofiev, and of Igor Stravinsky, who wrote music that not only offended people but actually caused riots in concert halls. At that stage of my life, this seemed like a worthwhile goal. Of course, that stage of life is what gave meaning to the word sophomoric. And I took literature courses from, among others, Dr. Charles Chappell, who taught me that it's okay to like Wallace Stevens, even if you don't know what the hell he's talking about, and to prefer Flannery O'Connor to Gertrude Stein, and Ogden Nash to Ezra Pound. He helped me take my first steps into Yoknapatawpha County, even though I had to get a whole lot older to begin to appreciate its intimidating vastness. Dr. Chappell introduced me to an essay by Mark Twain called Fenimore Cooper's Literary Offenses, which ought to be required reading for anybody who wants to write, along with Elmore Leonard's 10 Rules of Writing, the first sentence of 100 Years of Solitude, the last chapter of A Sentimental Education, and pretty much every word of Middlemarch. He also gave me an A+ on a paper I wrote about Moby Dick. When I applied for my first job at a newspaper, that essay was the only thing I had to show as a writing sample. Miraculously, I got that job, and that led to many marvelous things. Coming face to face with an orangutan, cuddling a crocodile, swimming with manatees, eating an iguana, seeing pink dolphins on the Amazon, cursing at howler monkeys, donating blood to leeches, and 2, it led to this moment on this stage and this honor, for which I'm very, very grateful to the nice folks at Hendrix. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to each of our recipients. Your lives have inspired us. Your stories engaged us today, and we are thrilled to have you here on campus. Your accomplishments set an example and a standard for excellence for all of us, and we will continue to watch with pride as your odysseys continue, and you continue to make a difference in the world beyond this campus. I want to thank our faculty and staff for your commitment to our mission and the values of this institution. As we heard from our honorees, each of them raised up faculty from their days on this campus, a continuing legacy that you will have, and someday as future alumni receive these rewards and recognize you for the impact that you've had on their lives as well. At this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Ellen Austin, our Hendrix chaplain, back to give the benediction, and following the benediction, she'll provide some instructions as we leave. Thank you, and congratulations to our recipients, and thank you all for being here today for this celebration.
I do ask that you please remain seated while the platform party and the faculty make their way out of the room following the benediction. So much to celebrate and savor here. Let us go forth in gratitude and in joy. Amen.